Rechargeable batteries like the one in your MacBook Pro or MacBook Air won't last forever, unfortunately, and the same thing is true with like what's in this iPhone or even in this rechargeable mouse. The battery will eventually diminish in quality and in capacity, and it just won't hold as much of a charge as it once did. But how can you determine just how healthy your Mac's battery is, and how close are you to needing a new battery? Or are you even anywhere close? Because those batteries should last a good long time, right? So let's take a look at 3 different ways that you can use to determine just how healthy your Mac battery is or isn't. So this first thing here that we can do is something that does not require any kind of third-party apps or plugins or anything at all, really. Now, what we can do is to go up to the top left corner of the screen and click on the Apple menu. Now, you've probably seen this menu a million times, of course, if you're shutting down your Mac or rebooting it or whatever the case might be, of course. But if you hold down the Option key on your keyboard, then the About This Mac section will actually turn into System Information, which is kind of a hidden thing there, which is kind of cool. And if I click on System Information, then that will bring up this little window here, which shows me some information about the hardware in my system. And there are a bunch of sections there that I can go through and look at if I want to. But what I really care about here, of course, is the Power section. So if I click on Power, I'll note that there is a section here called Battery Information, and then under that, there's something called Health Information. Now, Health Information shows me that my cycle count on my battery is at 69. The condition is normal, which is great, and the maximum capacity is at 100%. Now, I expect fully that over time, as I put more cycles on the battery, as it gets into the hundreds of cycles, that the battery's maximum capacity will degrade, and eventually this number will become 98 or 90 or even lower. So that's fully to be expected. But right now I'm at 100%, and if it stays there, then I'll be happy for a long time. So pretty cool. So the second thing here is something called iStat menus. Now, iStat menus is something that I covered in my Set app video, so I'm not going to go really deep dive in depth on this. But there is something here in the combo menu, and you can also set this to show individually if you want to. And if I click on that menu, then go down to the battery section on mine, I'll note that I can see the same thing that I just saw in the System Information window, which shows me that the health and cycles and condition of the battery are, that 169 and the normal, which is all good and true. But what this shows me is a little bit more, and I can see that my design capacity and the current capacity are slightly different, which is normal, because over time that current capacity is going to go down, and I can see that currently my battery holds a little bit less than it was designed to. So as I use the battery, it's worn out just a little bit, and then as I use it more and more, then this will go down. So that's good to know. Now, I'm not going to worry about this because this is normal. It's something you just expect as you're charging and then recharging, discharging the battery. But I like to keep an eye on that and just know that there's a way that I can check on that and just see what the current capacity on that is. So kind of cool, right? Now this app here is called coconutBattery, and coconutBattery is an app that I've used for years just to kind of get a picture at a glance of a Mac's battery health. And I like the fact that it shows me some important stats there, including again the manufacture date and cycle count and all that useful stuff there, which is nice to know. Now I note that on this, interestingly, it shows me that my current battery charge is at 96.9%, which is not correct as far as I can see. And the system itself thinks that the state of charge is at 100%, and iStat menus actually concurs with that, and it shows me 100% there. So I'm not sure where coconutBattery is getting that number, but it's kind of strange. But I do like the fact that it shows me the percentage of the design capacity that my Mac still has. So we found with iStat menus, remember, that the design capacity for this particular battery is 6,075 milliamp hours, which is respectable. But the current capacity for this particular battery in this machine is only 5,950. So that means I've got about 97.9% of that full charge capacity left on my Mac, which after 6 months is respectable. I mean, I'm not unhappy with that. I think that's perfectly fine, considering that I've done a lot of editing video with this Mac, even on battery, not plugged in. I mean, really, I probably should have had it plugged in, but it's just fine. And after 6 months, only losing 2.1%, I'm happy with that. But if I were to keep this machine for many, many years, then maybe there will come a point which I would want the battery to be replaced. But right now, I'm happy with it. I think that's perfectly fine. Now, this also shows me the history. So if I want to check the health of the battery every few months or so, then I can keep kind of a log of how the battery is doing. So if maybe I'm concerned about how the battery is doing and I want something to be able to show Apple support, or if I want to just kind of keep track of my usage and see, am I getting close to the point where really I should replace the battery or get it replaced? Then yeah, I can keep a log there. But you can also do something cool here and see the health of the battery in your iOS device. Now, if you pay for the Plus upgrade of this app, which you could do if you want to, then you can see a bit more information about the battery and also connect with your iOS devices over Wi-Fi if you want. But for me, I think this free version is just fine, and it will be for most people too. So one final thing here that I do want to leave you with, but before we wrap up, is this. Don't worry yourself too much about this. Now, I have seen people on Reddit and elsewhere honestly almost panicking about losing 1% or 2% battery health, and I think that's not healthy. I mean, remember that these batteries are designed to last for a long time, but they are degradable parts. They will wear out over time, and that is just expected. It's normal. It's going to happen. It happens with all computers that have batteries. All iPhones and all Android devices, even rechargeable mice. It's just part of how batteries work. It's not Apple's fault. It's not Microsoft's fault. It's just how batteries are made with our current technology. And maybe one day we'll get to the point where the battery doesn't degrade as quickly, or maybe it will last for 10 plus years. And it very likely could get to that point. But right now, we know that batteries are going to degrade, and it's just part of life, right? But the fact is that your MacBook's battery is replaceable if you ever needed to replace it. So if you ever needed a new battery, you could either go to Apple or an authorized provider and get a new battery installed and be back up to the same battery capacity that you had from day one. So pretty cool. Personally, I've only lost about 2.1% of my battery health in the past 6 months, and I'm not unhappy about that. I think it's honestly pretty good. And I've done a lot of 4K video editing with my Mac and running even on battery power, doing that, running with Premiere Pro and After Effects. And I've done a lot of work on those programs, even doing Blender work off my battery, so not plugged into power, and it works just fine. And in that time, I've only lost 2.1% of the battery power. That's pretty good. And that means that in a year's time, I would have lost 4.2%. And then in 2 years, 8.4%, if my math is right there. And that will still put me above 80% battery power, which is honestly pretty good. So, above 90%. See, I did math, whatever. But hopefully this video has been helpful to you, and hopefully you found something here that's entertaining or interesting or somewhat educational. Maybe you found a tool here that you didn't know about before. But if you like this video, then please click that like button and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks.